Okay, let's dive right in. You know that feeling, right? When a conversation you're having just completely falls flat? We've all been there. And today, we're going to figure out why that happens and why, believe it or not, some of the smartest people out there are actually the worst at explaining things. So just picture this for a second. You're explaining something you know like the back of your hand. Could be, I don't know, a work thing, a hobby you love, or shoot, even just how to get to your house. To you, it's crystal clear. Simple. But then, you look up, and you see it, that blank stare, the slightly confused furrowed brow, and, oh yeah, my favorite, the polite little nod that has zero actual understanding behind it. You know the one. They are completely, totally lost. And that's when your own brain starts yelling at you, right? That little voice in your head goes, "Why don't they get this? It's so obvious." But here's the catch. It's only obvious to you. That huge gap between you and them, it has nothing to do with how smart they are. It's something else entirely. It's a cognitive bias. There's a name for this, and it's called the curse of knowledge. And it's a powerful one. See, once you truly know something, you can't unknow it. It's impossible. Your brain literally rewires itself. You completely forget what it felt like to be a beginner, to be on the other side of that wall of knowledge. It's kind of like trying to put toothpaste back in the tube. It's just not going to happen. And listen, this isn't just some small, annoying little quirk. This bias, it's everywhere. It hides in plain sight, causing all sorts of communication meltdowns in some really important parts of our lives. So let's take a look at a few places where it shows up. Okay, first up, let's talk about a classic breeding ground for this curse, the classroom, right? We've all had that brilliant professor, a total genius in their field, but a terrible teacher. They're so deep in their subject that they toss around complex jargon like it's nothing. They just skip right over the fundamental steps because for them it's automatic. It's like breathing. And they honestly can't figure out why a beginner is struggling. Yeah, from their point of view, the whole thing is straightforward. They have zero memory of the struggle, of what it was like to learn it from scratch. And what's the result? You get a room full of confused students who start thinking, man, what's wrong with me? I must be the one missing something obvious. All right, so let's swap the classroom for the office, where the stakes can be just as high, if not higher.
Picture a senior engineer explaining a new project. This is a perfect example. They start dropping acronyms left and right, just assuming that everyone, including the new person who just started last week, has the exact same deep dive understanding of the system architecture that they do.
And what do the junior folks do? They just nod along, right? Because nobody wants to be the one to look like they don't know what's going on. But inside, they are scrambling, totally lost. It's a guaranteed recipe for a communication disaster, and it's all because the experts simply forgot what it was like to be the new kid on the block. And for our last example, let's look at something we all deal with literally every single day: the design of the apps on our phones and the websites we visit. So you've got a designer who has lived and breathed this product for months, maybe even years. They know every single menu, every button, every little hidden trick. And because of that, it becomes totally impossible for them to see their own creation with fresh eyes. They're blind to all the little spots where a brand new user is going to get stuck. And the designer? They genuinely believe the navigation is super intuitive. Why? Well, because for them, it is. But here's the thing. What's intuitive for an expert is often a confusing mess for a beginner. And this, right here, is exactly why user testing with actual real new users is so important. So you might be asking, why do our brains even do this? Is it some kind of flaw? Well, no, not really. It's not a personal failing at all. It's actually a sign that your brain is being super efficient. Let's dig into the science just a little bit. Okay, think back to when you were learning how to drive a car. Remember that? At first, every single move was this huge, conscious effort. Okay, check the mirror, now signal, ease off the brake, turn the wheel, right? But after a while, with practice, your brain starts building these super fast neural shortcuts. The whole thing just becomes automatic. You don't think about the steps anymore, you just drive. And once that happens, trying to go back and explain all those tiny little steps you used to take, it's almost impossible. And that right there is why this curse is so dangerous. We're not just talking about a few small misunderstandings. This thing creates big systemic problems. You end up with brilliant experts who can't pass on their knowledge. You get instruction manuals that are basically useless. And worst of all, you get this fundamental lack of empathy for beginners, which just crushes learning and teamwork. Okay, But here's the good news. You are not doomed to suffer from this curse forever. You can absolutely fight back against this bias. It just takes some real conscious effort. So the big question is, how do you actually do it? Well, here's a simple 4-step toolkit you can use. Step 1, get a fresh pair of eyes on the problem. Literally, sit down and watch a beginner try to figure it out. And the hard part? Don't help them, just watch. Their struggles are going to shine a giant spotlight on all the things you just assumed they knew. Step 2, unpack your assumptions. Ask yourself, okay, what background knowledge did I take for granted? And actually write it all down. Step 3, simplify, simplify, simplify. Use what some people call the 10-year-old test. Could you explain this to a kid with no jargon, just simple, concrete examples? And finally, step 4, remember your own journey. Seriously, try to remember what it was like for you. What confused you back then? Tapping into that memory is an incredibly powerful tool. Because at the end of the day, breaking this curse isn't about dumbing things down. That's not it at all. It's about something way deeper, way more profound. The real antidote here is empathy. It all comes down to that. It's about having the ability to imagine what it's like to not know something. And this is key, not seeing that ignorance as a weakness in the other person, but seeing it for what it is, a perspective that you yourself have simply forgotten you once had. So I'll leave you with this to chew on. What's the obvious knowledge in your life? What's a skill you have that's so automatic now, or an idea that's so fundamental to you that you've totally forgotten you ever had to learn it? Because right there, that's where your own personal curse of knowledge is hiding.